Fear is one of humanity's oldest, most essential emotions. We developed it to protect ourselves by detecting threats, responding quickly, and surviving dangerous situations. Today, people seek fear on purpose. In 2023, horror movies made up over 10% of North American ticket sales, more than double a decade ago, and about 13% of global box office revenue. Horror content also accounts for roughly 20% of streaming views in the US. These numbers show how powerful fear is culturally and commercially. The reason we enjoy being scared lies deep in the brain. Fear starts with the amygdala, a small, almond-shaped structure that is hundreds of millions of years old. We share it with many animals, including reptiles and primates. It rapidly detects threats and triggers the fight or flight response, raising heart rate, tensing muscles, and quickening breath, often before we consciously realize danger. The prefrontal cortex then assesses the situation. If it recognizes the threat is fake, like in a horror movie, it calms the amygdala, allowing us to experience fear safely. The hippocampus links fear to memory, helping us avoid past dangers, while the insula tracks internal sensations like chills or nausea. When fear happens in a safe context, the brain's reward system activates, releasing dopamine and turning fear into an exhilarating experience. Fear develops through a mix of innate and learned experiences. Most fears are acquired through learning, from personal experience, observation, or culture. For example, we learn to fear snakes, spiders, or strangers. However, some fears like falling or sudden loud noises are hardwired from birth because they posed immediate threat. A study by psychologist Bruce Frederick and colleagues shows that infants react with fear to sudden sounds and heights without prior learning, while fears of animals develop later through experience. Carl Jung and others suggested some fears, such as the fear of snakes, may be part of a collective unconscious or generational memory. This means certain fears can be passed down across generations, embedded in our psyche through evolutionary and cultural inheritance without direct experience. This helps explain why some fears are common across cultures. Physiologically, fear floods the body with adrenaline and cortisol to prepare for danger. Once the threat passes, dopamine rewards us with relief and satisfaction. This tension release cycle explains why controlled fear feels thrilling and why we enjoy Halloween scares and roller coasters. One of the most powerful sources of fear is the unknown. Humans have a natural aversion to uncertainty because it signals potential risk. Not knowing what lies ahead or understanding someone unfamiliar triggers anxiety and fear. This fear likely evolved because unpredictable situations hide dangers, making cautious behavior vital for survival. Fear has played a key role in human evolution beyond biology. Early humans sat around fires, telling stories of dangerous animals and hostile tribes. These stories, passed from generation to generation, are likely the origin of language and literature. Fear appears in some of the world's oldest stories and scriptures. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest known texts, explores fear of death and the unknown, reflecting humanity's struggle with mortality. Similarly, the Bible addresses fear not only as terror but as reverence and awe of the divine, such as the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, showing fear's role in guiding moral behavior and respect. From an evolutionary perspective, fear serves as a mental rehearsal. Horror stories simulate danger, helping us practice emotional regulation and prepare for real threats. We're drawn to primal fears like darkness, predators, and isolation, ancient dangers now symbolic and manageable. Children learn from playful fear, like peekaboo or Halloween costumes, which builds emotional control and resilience. Culturally, humans have long ritualized fear. The Navajo avoid malevolent spirits called chindi. The Haudenosaunee use frightening masks to drive away illness. Mexico's Dia de los Muertos transforms fear into joyful remembrance. Japan's Obon Festival honors ancestors with ghost stories and lanterns. Fear strengthens social bonds. When people experience scary moments together, like watching a horror movie, the shared adrenaline heightens emotions such as laughter and relief, making connections stronger. On a larger scale, fear unites groups against common enemies, fostering identity and cooperation. Without shared fear, suspicion can turn inward, even against our own members. Humans seem always to seek excitement through fear to connect, survive, and feel alive. Ultimately, fear is more than survival, it is a tool for exploring uncertainty, building resilience, and creating meaning. So next time your heart races at a horror scene or a spooky costume sends a shiver down your spine, remember fear is not just a reaction. It is a window into what it means to be human.